This is the infrastructure design stream, where now Gregor Streckel and Ayhan Akre will explore with Kresimir Ilic from the company Radionica Mostova how Allplan solutions drive smarter infrastructure projects. Welcome to Shaping Infrastructure Success, how Allplan solutions drive smarter infrastructure projects.
We have built cities that touch the clouds, roads that run across oceans, and bridges spanning longer distances than ever before. And yet, for the engineers behind that progress, the tools often hold them back. We spoke to hundreds of civil engineers, planners, and designers. They all said the same thing. Give us something, give us a tool that understands how we work, not just what we do. And today, we are doing exactly that. So welcome to this special Allplan session about our infrastructure solution. A solution purpose-built for the minds that shape our world. A solution that was built not in the theory, but in memory of the friction, the frustration, and the ambition of the people who design our infrastructure. Joining me live is someone who knows this journey intimately. Ayhan Akre, an engineer who's lived that on both sides of the screen. So Ayhan, welcome.
Hello, Gregor. Glad to be here.
Ayhan, before you joined Allplan, you have designed many different infrastructure utilities. What was that like?
So after graduating from civil engineering, I started working in a design companies, and I started from culverts and moved beyond to the bridges. But when I'm doing that, I had to understand why infrastructure are different than the other structures, because it connects the disciplines, it connects cities, and it connects even countries or the continents.
Yes, I think you're right. So infrastructure is different, and the shapes or the geometries are more complex. And I know that back time there were not so many tools who you were able to use. So how was this in your case?
So back in the school, everybody is teaching the hand drawing because you have to understand the basics of it. Then you are moving to 2D drawings, which is very common these days.
Okay.
But 2D drawings has its own perks because the bridge structures, as you said, are very complex. Not only bridge structures, the tunnels, culverts, every infrastructure. Because also they are axis-based shapes. They can be very curved or the vertical alignment, and
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we thought it was better to switch to the 3D for better optimization and the precision.
And did you have the tools who were tailored for this kind of, let's say, modeling?
Back in the day, no. We were just using manual workflows. We were using 2D cross sections and trying to connect with them with the longitudinal sections or the details. So it was very difficult and the manual work, I can say.
Okay. But still today the final deliverables are 2D drawings, right?
Yeah.
And that was also in your case when you delivered the project deliverables for 2D drawings.
Yeah.
And the last company, so you're from Turkey.
Yeah.
You worked for Yüksel project. What was in this company? Because this is a very renovated company. Did you immediately start with more advanced tools, or what was the journey in your last company before joining Allplan?
No, we didn't directly adapt to the advanced because we needed to understand first how we can switch to the 3D.
Okay.
Because the majority of the people are used to work with the 2D drawings. But we were already trying to do with our own. We were trying to script it. We were trying to visualize it in 3D just to confirm that our designs are good enough to represent to the contractor or to the customers. So we were doing this manually until we met with you actually at the time.
Okay. I still remember the first day we have met.
Yeah.
We then, of course, showed you what new technology we have. Did your life, not only your life, but the life of the company of engineers in your office, change after introducing our new technology, our modeling capabilities?
Yeah, Gregor, because we were trying to script ourselves. The parameterization or the repetitive tasks, so that we don't get caught in the details and repetitive tasks. But what is really downside about it is these were special for each project. So every time each project starts, you have to decode your script again or the parameterization again, which at the end of the day was the focus of our work. We couldn't focus on engineering that much.
So did you learn on this school how to script, or was this in
No,
parallel?
it was a necessity for the infrastructure, because you have very long bridges or the infrastructures, you have to repeat your tasks. So as I said, since we met you, we realized that it was a bridge-focused or the infrastructure-focused solution that we can use and directly visualize the solution. So that's why we decided to switch to it.
So if I understand you correctly, it had a big benefit for you because you don't have to script anymore your models. You could directly create models in the 3D environment. And how did this affect the final deliverables? And not only the final deliverables, maybe if you can explain a little bit how this affected the workflow, the process in your company.
I mean, for a simple task, it saved a lot of time for the scripting, because we couldn't see, we were planning with the meetings with a lot of people, how can we script that, and we are not a developers. We should be focusing on the design of the bridges itself and safety, economically optimized bridges, right? So since we didn't have to deal with the scripting anymore, we directly used your solution and directly see the results on the screen. So that was very innovative for us in the first place.
Today we can say that's our solution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe a very good question would be also, because you described at the beginning that infrastructure geometries are more complex. And because our solution is really purpose built, I mean, I don't want to even imagine how you have managed this in the 2D workflow, but in 3D workflow you could very quickly generate the exact models. And can you maybe elaborate, Sinta?
First, I don't want to remember these days, but really, I can give you, of course. So since this 2D cross-section modeling approach, 2D modeling approach is really do a lot of work, it can cost you time and less efficient for the precisions. But we have to think about that. It's not only 2D. The infrastructure connects to every discipline. It can be hydraulics, it can be geotechnical, architecture. You need to discuss with the contractors or the governments every time. So, but 2D cannot provide to that because you have to have different files for each discipline. But what we are doing is we are connecting people, disciplines, as we are connecting the bridges and the cities.
So we can say that our solution improves workflows, improves everyday
communication,
lives,
actually.
Improves the lives of our customers, of the engineers. So this brings me to the next topic that we have. So a couple of days ago, I was at another customer who told us a similar story. So now before we continue, I would like that we have a look at the video and what this customer has told us and what his experience is when he switched to our solution, when he switched from 2D workflows into 3D environment. So please, let's have a look. Hi, Krešimir, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you, and thank you for coming.
I'm here first time in your office, but last year, beginning of the year, you hosted us on this big infrastructure project, this big construction site for our infrastructure event. And I'm curious, in which state is now this project, these structures?
Well, it's been 1 year since we visited our site, and our structures are completed. You have seen our viaduct, Sarudar, Komari, and Bridge Rava. Other structures are yet to be completed, like station buildings, platforms, canopies, etc. And then the project will be fully finished. Even now, as we speak, our structures are under traffic.
under traffic. That
Yes.
means people already traveling.
Yes, they are traveling with reduced speeds.
Okay.
They are not achieving maximum speeds of rail for which it is designed for, but freight and passenger trains are coming.
A curious question: is there any reason for why to have reduced speed?
Because sites are ongoing,
Okay,
construction is
okay.
ongoing.
Just safety reasons.
And it's safety reasons, of course.
Yeah. So at that time, we showcased how you have used Allplan and Allplan, our infrastructure solution, to deliver your projects. But your experience is far back into the times where, I don't know if you still draw the 2D drawings by hand, but for sure you draw in 2D environment without 3D models. And now you are working in a 3D environment. So how was this journey? What has affected the most?
Well, I'm old enough and have enough of years of experience in our job to remember 3D CAD drawings which we did before. In past we used CAD 2D model tools to develop 2D drawings, and now I mean it was a long process in between, for learning and getting used to it. And when we came to use 3D softwares, we now couldn't go back. We are used to accuracy and cooperation with other colleagues and etc. And now, not only for 2D drawings, we are producing 3D models which are inherited by even our colleagues which are developing reinforcement, or for drainage, or other parties for the drainage, everything, installations, equipment, etc.
So for everything, the 3D model is
Yes,
used.
of
So
course.
for all the deliverables, do you do something else with this 3D model?
When we finish our work, and also other colleagues finish, we get at the end the integral and interdisciplinary model, which contains all the data, all our drawings, all entities attached, documents and everything, and it could easily be used for maintenance crew from client at the end. So a model like this follows the structure for its entire lifetime.
Okay, so the model you finish, you pass on to the
Yes.
maintenance. That's cool. Yeah. And so the deliverables are still 2D. You mentioned that you are, because that's probably the main tool for the construction site, right?
Of course, still sites use printed drawings, of course, and it's official submission. But it's nowadays widely used also for preparation of work or following the progress. We are using softwares which enables client to know at every point in time, progress of works, financial part of the contract, time-wise, impact on time schedule, etc. Also, quantity tracking is much easier, much easier with 3D models.
So there are much benefits which you get from the 3D model.
Yes, and clients are recognizing these benefits. Even in new tenders, they put obligations. They make us obligatory to use BIM tools because they recognize benefits for them also.
And on the construction side, what are the benefits for the construction side? So less clash detections or less clashes?
Of course, there's less clash with less problems on site. It's easier to see any error, like non-compliance or something. And also the management of work is much easier.
Okay.
You can easily track progress of construction, financial part, time schedule, things like that. And also collision of reinforcement of equipment which is imported from other parties into the project. All designs must be compliant together, and it's all visible if it's not in the 3D model. Something sticks out,
Yeah. And you are not only an engineer, right? So you're also a business owner. You're also owning the company, and having this kind of a software, having the software for that you can have so many benefits from 3D modeling. What a business impact has this software, our software, in your particular case?
Well, it's our benefit is visible almost every day because more accurate we get, more be able to see some errors or non-compliances. It needs less of our work in our everyday routine, you know. So it means less cost.
Okay.
It means more time. You know, we are faster in our work, more accurate, and it yields lower cost of the designing.
Which also affects more profit. You can also create more projects in the same time.
Of course, when we are faster, other colleagues get into the job project earlier in the stage. Everything is this first stage preparation of some construction job is shortened as to be optimum and favorable for the client, of course.
Okay. And of course, what I was at that time, I would say, very surprised. Of course, one time, not only surprised, but also very proud of, is that with our software, our solution, you could or you can model different kind of structures. How important is for you that you have, I would say, not so many softwares, not many software solutions, but that with one software solution, you can model different kind of structures like tunnels,
Of course.
cut and cover structures, bridges, retaining walls.
Of course, it gives us much confidence in our work because not only we are designing structure to overcome obstacles or we do overpasses or underpasses, we also do retaining walls, cut and cover tunnels, galleries, or anything which comes our way in the progress of designing, which shows to be optimal for the client.
If I may ask you something different, what is the main, what would be from your point of view the best feature that you have in Allplan?
I think the best feature is that more colleagues can work on the same model at the same time. It is, for me, the best advantage, except for accuracy in 3D and visuality and everything. But if I can get the whole team to work on the same model, it is very favorable for me. You know, a team member can be absent, another one can come in. Very fast it gets aware of the state of the project, takes one part of the designing, takes it back, you know, in the model. It's visible, the whole progress is visible. You can see the reinforcement equipment. I think it's the most beneficial part of 3D software is cooperation of team members.
Okay, I mean, we are almost reaching, I would say, our limit because we are a little bit limited with time.
You should come more often.
I will come more often for sure.
With more minutes.
You know, we are cooperating since we introduced our software to you. You also benefited also our, how to say, the development very often with your knowledge. Maybe last question for today. What do you look into the future? You know, now AI is very, very popular. How do you think that AI could help you in the future? Because also we are developing AI, or we have, for example, the AI visualizer helping you to do visualizations in early project states. Of course, this also saves time. But what do you look like?
Well,
what will happen with the industry and with the software?
Yes, we are for sure looking forward of introduction to AI into our industry. We still think that there is space for development, improving the speed and accuracy. Let's say we can use AI tools for, let's say, dimension lines, you know, things which are routine. Let's say if you have longitudinal section of, let's say, a bridge, it is common routine to make dimension lines. Let's say, for example,
I agree.
But we still spend some time for it. It could be done. We have a way of doing it, which is custom in our office. If AI could learn our way, it would be done in a second.
Again, a lot of save of time.
Yeah, there is still progress. Of course, it's another level of a software development and everything, which we expect, you know, to see.
We are working on it, and we will deliver.
We are looking forward. We have space for implementation of your new solutions, and we are looking forward for sure.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you for coming.
Being here. Thank you. And I wish you all the best for the future, so that you will be able to deliver projects much faster.
Thank you.
Even better, with better quality.
Thank you. We are grateful for your attention and your software and our cooperation, and we are looking forward to future cooperation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So listening to what Krešimir said and to the discussion I had with Krešimir, and this brought me again to discussion we had before, and it's very similar. what you were saying and what Krešimir is saying. And I have to admit that we are hearing this also for other customers. What was your own take on from the discussion I had with Krešimir?
First of all, it is great to see Mr. Krešimir again because he is an expert engineer. And it is also great to hear that they can model everything, every infrastructure project without any limitation. It's always a relief that expert engineers such as Krešimir is proving that you can do anything. It is always a huge relief.
I agree. And yes, the software developed over the years a lot because we started the bridges. Today we can do almost any infrastructure object, also tunnels, like we saw, cut and cover, normal tunnels, round tunnels. This is now possible, much easier than ever before. And you are now part of Allplan. You joined Allplan, which I think is great. And of course, your experience you had as a bridge designer or the infrastructure designer will for sure have an effect on how we are developing the software. But from your point of view, how will affect your knowledge and your expertise the design or of how we are building the software together?
So coming from the industry, as you said, I know the pain points, and I relieved that when I first joined the team, everybody was focused on the infrastructure. So we are really working on the pain points and the feedbacks from the users directly. So we are continuing to receive feedbacks from the users and trying to develop together actually. And it is really rewarding to see that with you and with the team to shape the future of the infrastructure together actually.
Yes, so I'm also looking forward to shaping the future of infrastructure at Allplan together. I'm looking forward to delivering better tools, better workflows in the future. And let's leave it like this. I can thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
It was really a pleasure having you here. And now I would also like to thank you for listening to us. Thank you.
Next, in our dedicated What's New in sessions, Allplan experts will present the highlights of each of the Allplan solutions, including Allplan, the comprehensive design-to-build platform for AEC professionals. Allplan Civil, our solution for advanced infrastructure workflows. Allplan Precast, our dedicated solution for automated precast walls and slabs fabrication. SIA, for 3D structural analysis and design. Frilo, our solution for component-based structural analysis and foundation design. STS2, our solution for structural steel detailing and connection design. And Manufacton, our solution for fabrication management. Choose the product stream you prefer and don't miss the latest innovations that will drive the future of architectural design, engineering design, infrastructure design, prefabrication, steel detailing, collaboration, and construction. After these dedicated product sessions, don't miss best practice examples from real customer projects and learn how Allplan supports them through superior workflows across building and infrastructure projects.